Things have not been going very well for the Witcher franchise over on Netflix lately. Check out the trailer for Blood Origin that came out 13 days ago. Now sitting at 141,000 dislikes. The critic reviews aren't very good for the show either, which is kind of surprising, I got to be honest. It has a lot of things that they look for in a show, and I'm not talking about storytelling or any of that. It checks a lot of boxes. Usually, the story doesn't matter as much when it comes to mainstream critics. What matters is checked boxes. And from what I understand, Blood Origin checks a lot of them. So I'm confused why critics are giving it such a low score. Maybe that's changed. It was at 47, so it could hit 50. I don't know if it's still considered rotten at 50, but it's kind of on the brink. And, you know, a lot of these critics will play ball, so maybe it'll come back up. But as of right now, not doing that well. A lot of that has to do with the fact that, well, Henry Cavill dumped the show. Hardcore Witcher fan dumps the show because, well, he says he just wants to go in a different direction. And a lot of us were talking about the Superman stuff, which I do believe was a factor. He thought he was going back to doing Superman all the time. And then, of course, that changed. It looks like they were going to, but then when Gunn and Safran were appointed, they decided to go into a different direction. It's a crazy timeline. But he's lost his show. He is going to the Warhammer series. He put a lengthy statement on that the other day. I liked it. I guess he's an executive producer on the Warhammer series, even though, unfortunately, it sounds like the show is going to be headed up by one of the Wheel of Time people. Henry still has a little bit of power, so he can maybe guide this show into something a little more authentic for fans. So, The Witcher, I think, has received probably the most blowback out of all of this because they've been thoroughly exposed. X-Men 97 head writer is not hiring fake fans. Talked about how The Witcher writers actively mocked the source materials. That's a big revelation, and no one disbelieves this because everybody's like, yeah, we could tell you didn't like it. So the Witcher franchise has had a lot of damage done to it. Well, excuse me, not franchise, just the Netflix show. The Netflix show has had a lot of damage done to it. So one of the ways it looks like they're trying to get around this, or at least somebody is, they went out and have released this through a person that only has 704 followers. So I'm not sure if this is real, but it's making traction. 1,800 quote tweets, 5,000 likes, bigger accounts. This one has a lot of followers, are retweeting it and talking about it. And they're trying to push this narrative that Henry Cavill was the toxic person at The Witcher and was hard to work with. Now, I'm going to go over what they say here, but I want to show you some of the reactions to this note. This person who blocked me, praying for any women who have to work with him on Warhammer. Oh, and he dated Gina Carano. He dates younger women. It's Henry Cavill. Have you seen this man? Of course he dates younger women. They're all legal. I'm pretty sure they're all adults. So, I mean, it's Henry Cavill. So they're going after him now, trying to turn the tides through this. So this is the statement that's popped up. And people are trying to act like this is true. I don't know if this is true, but I also think that to an extent it might be true on some things, and I want to go over that. Notably being how upset he was with the show. Because I think that's a pretty well-known secret that he was upset with the show. It's why he left. Because the show didn't stick with what The Witcher actually is. But let's go through this. I recently got this message, and somebody was like, do you want to know what really went down? And I was like, sure. So let me just read it. It says, at the beginning of the show, Henry was good to work with. A lot of unusual demands that made people feel like he wasn't really a team player, but that's not unusual for a big star. So that part right there saying he's a diva, I don't believe that. Henry Cavill seems pretty chill. Now, I do believe he probably has some demands that are, a little bit more needy, but that's most people that have a big star status in Hollywood. I'm just letting you know. But I doubt it was anything like crazy different than anybody else. Though in TV, it truly usually doesn't happen until the second season. But in season 2 and 3, something shifted, and he became really impossible for women to work with, which is always a big problem. Don't see anything to back that up other than what this person is saying. If anything, I think it became hard for the women in charge, because most of the people on the show are women, to work with him, because he was very unhappy with the direction of the show, especially during the later parts of the show. Very unhappy. It's why he left. He wasn't happy. But it's not because he was some kind of diva. He was unhappy with the decisions being made. And it goes right here. He would try to overrule her. Oh, but even worse here, because the showrunner is a woman. So see, he's a sexist because he disagrees with the showrunner, who's a woman. That shouldn't matter. If you disagree with them, it shouldn't matter if they're a man or a woman. But if it's a woman, especially now, they're going to weaponize it and say, well, you're some kind of misogynistic, toxic man or something. It's just because you wanted to get your own input in. He would try to overrule her and try to get changes made last minute across the board without her knowledge. So all of the shitty decisions she was making that was anti-Witcher lore, he was trying to change, and she didn't like that, of course. This is why he left. He's very passionate about the project. It's a shame that it went this way, because if you had someone like Henry Cavill, you could have really made a great show, which, if you know anything about show running, is completely effed. The showrunner has to sign off on every minuscule detail down to the buttons on a costume. Female writers and directors were suddenly completely ignored on set, unable to do their jobs. Every department head was complaining. He started making comments. It wasn't a sexual thing. He wasn't grabbing anyone or being lewd, but it was disrespectful and toxic all the same. So, because he wanted to make changes to the show, which is a show based on a franchise that he loves, he's sexist and misogynistic. Even though nothing he did was sexual, he was just disrespectful. So being disrespectful, it means you're misogynist. Respect is earned, first off. It doesn't sound like anybody that works on that show earned his respect. And it's not toxic to try to save something you love. But of course, here we are. I mean, just supporting your country is considered racist now. So, this doesn't surprise me. Every type of criticism has been blocked by these hyperbolic statements, like saying that someone is racist or sexist because they do this and that with no real evidence. The words have become so meaningless, because now him trying to fix the show is sexist. And then they throw this out here. He's deeply addicted to video games to the point where it was like working with any other addict. Evidence, please. Now, we know he likes video games. That's for sure. He does. But deeply addicted? Okay. He was distracted. He was late. He was obsessive. And a lot of people think that the misogyny came from Gamer World. See how misogyny is in there? Wait for the headlines to come out on this now. They're going to call him misogynist. This is how you damage control for The Witcher in their minds. Oh, we've got this petition, which is almost to 300,000 signatures. We've got this guy out here trashing the show who's at X-Men now. Henry Cavill's very loved. What do we do? Well, we smear him. We call him misogynist. Video game bro language is not how you talk to coworkers. And he wouldn't stop. Someone on the show compared it to watching get brainwashed by QAnon. Like, his whole personality shifted. Eventually, his disrespect escalated. He would rewrite scenes without even alerting the other actors in the scenes until it was almost time to shoot. He decided that he didn't want any romantic scenes at all. I don't believe that at all. especially when it comes to Geralt and Triss. I don't believe that at all. No kissing, no shirtless scenes, etc. Why are they complaining they didn't want to do shirtless scenes? So you're calling him sexist because he didn't want to objectify himself? What is that? To not be sexist, are you just supposed to do everything the woman asks of you? And second off, I don't believe that he didn't want to do shirtless scenes. Henry Cavill's entire career depends on him looking good shirtless. So I don't believe that he didn't want to do any shirtless scenes at all. Don't believe that at all. Maybe not tons of them, but I highly press X to doubt that he said no to shirtless scenes. His career depends on shirtless scenes. So I think he knows what he's selling. He doesn't. I highly doubt that. I think maybe too many. Like, I don't want to go the whole episode shirtless. But that would probably be it. He wanted complete control of the storylines, but really had no idea of the limitations of TV structure, budget, etc. He formed a weird alliance with one writer who was also a gamer, who eventually got fired after multiple HR complaints were made. And after that writer left, Henry did anything he could to hold up production and cause problems. Eventually, top brass at Netflix were tired of him costing them money with delays in HR investigations, and the showrunner was asked to construct a potential exit for him. Netflix reached out to him personally and gave him one final warning and violated that warning with an email he sent to the entire writing staff right after that meeting. That was it. So a lot of this I press X to doubt. Now, I do believe some of the stuff in here about him having issues with writers. I do believe that he was trying to save the show. Netflix maybe did get involved, and they came to a mutually beneficial, split. I think there might be something to that, but all of this shit about him being a misogynist, no. Because what? He disagreed with some women on the show? That doesn't mean he doesn't like women. That's such a stupid statement. But do I believe that there might have been issues with him and the showrunner? Absolutely. That is 100% believable. And I think that there is something to some of this. But I think it's sugar-coated with a lot of bullshit. Like, they're blaming gaming. Okay, like, what was this? Gamergate? Just caused the Witcher breakup. Get the fuck out of here. Anyway, that's pretty much it. Let me know what you guys think in the comments below. I'd like to hear from you. Also, if you would, please like, subscribe, share the video. Make sure you're still subscribed. Hit that notification bell. Check out my Rumble and my locals, especially my locals, because you can actually get notifications for things. So I highly recommend signing up over there. It's free to sign up and just get notifications. And I think that it's 100% worth it for that alone. Not to mention the other stuff you get, but it's worth it for notifications. So let me know what you guys think. Also, if you would, please like, subscribe, all that good stuff, and I'll see you on the next one. Peace. Make sure to check out my locals. There's a link in the description. It's a fun community that I'm trying to build over here. If you don't want to support me on YouTube, you can come over here. None of that money goes to YouTube. You also can just come over here for free. But if you are a supporter over here, I do plan on doing an extra live stream once a month and throwing links to the supporters so you can actually come on and have a supporter live stream with me. Also, it's a good place to catch all of my content. You don't have to worry about notifications like YouTube. They'll definitely work over here. So come check out my locals.